I have the honor
wait,
of introducing a very special couple.
Okay.
Right.
And I was not sure what I was going to say, and then this morning it just all fell in place as I finished a book I was reading and realized it was not a memoir about a Yiddish poet, but it was a love story that spanned a whole century. And that Isaac and Sasha, on the day Isaac was born, Sasha was 4 years old, met their beshert. It's probably the only Yiddish word I took from the book. And I know back in the early, 1993, I met Imago, and I knew beshert. It was meant to be. It was my intended. And I know I fell in love with Imago. But way before that, Harville and Helen met each other, and it was beshert. That's what they look like, so I understand.
Once upon a time, long ago, in a land
Aww.
far away.
And today, we have the honor for them to share where they are on their journey, because we work with so many couples, and we know they come in our office, and I know that I've been honored to see how they have been able to get back to where they were when they first fell in love, to know that it was their beshert, but they also knew that they had Imago and the wonderful gift that Imago is in their lives. So I want you to just send that energy and love to Harville and Helen, because we've met them, and they're our beshert too, because of the vision that you have in giving Imago. And that the love story of Imago is not just going to span a century, but it's going to share into the infinite. I can't even imagine. Harville loves Star Trek, so it's just going to go on and on and on and on, and we are on the journey together. So Harville and Helen.
Great, great. Is there a PowerPoint? Or do I start? So first, that was amazing this morning. It was just so amazing, the flags, and all of you who worked to create that moment. It is just so powerful every year. And thank you for everyone who has put the conference together, all the hard work of the board. So we were really honored to begin to share remarks this morning on the relationship revolution. As you all came in, Neil Diamond was singing, "We're on a mission of love, da 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 da." It didn't hold a candle to the music before, but when we heard it, it was really great. But maybe at the dinner tonight we'll get and be able to jive to that, because that's what we think is happening here. That there's a mission of love, and this mission of love is helping to usher in the shift from the individual to the relational paradigm, and that all of us are on a relationship revolution. So Harville's really going to start the keynote, but I wanted to just explain that there's a story on about Harville that has accelerated some of our thinking, and that is that 3 years ago, we were minding our own business, both thinking we've worked hard. Harville really all of his life on the farm. I mean, he's never played, so we were charting. Believe me, so we love our motorhome, as you know, and those RV campgrounds, and we were literally charting early retirement, and we were going to go visit all the Imago therapists around the world in our motorhome and have a rally wherever we're going to go, and we'd put the little motorhome on a ship and go across the ocean, and we or rent one there. But it really is something we hope to do one day, but something interrupted the process, which was Harville stepped into the kitchen. I had been there earlier, and he seemed sort of white. I said, "Honey, what's wrong?" And he said, I was taking my time getting out of bed, and I was in a hypnagogic state. And I seemed to have heard some words. And I said, what were the words? And he sat down and he said, what I heard was, everything I've done to date is preparation for what's next. And I sort of mirrored back and I said, is there more? And he said, well, you want to know how I feel about it? I said, yeah. And he blankety blank blank. What did you say?
Pissed.
He was pissed, and that, what the blankety blank blank does that mean? Like, it was like, oh. And I said, well, and so we began to talk and think about it together. What might that mean? And after the anger, these tears rolled down his cheeks. And in all my years, knowing Harville, 35 years or something, I've never seen him in this state. And basically, he really thought about how only 5% of the population goes for therapy. And he just said, we'll never change the world that way. What do we do? That what we need is a relationship revolution. And he had poured his life in, and really loves the idea of the top therapy in the world, the best therapy out there. And we believe the best therapy is relational therapy, but that's how you develop as a person, a human, is through our relationships. And he wanted that to be the best, and you all have known him for years, zeroing in on that issue. But he said, there's something else that we should be doing. So basically, everyone needs to learn relationship wellness. So he and I have started talking the last 3 years to groups about it. And we actually are around some people who say, people would go for relationship therapy, marriage therapy years ago. It wasn't very good. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it wasn't. The explosion of neuroscience in the 90s and other science, relational science developing, it's gotten so good. We heard someone say something, which I now say, I think I say it publicly, you say it privately. We have the technology to end divorce on the planet. And I believe that with all my heart. That now this might include national policies changing, that when you apply for a marriage license, it needs to be more like a driver's license where you take a course, pass a test. If you flunk it, you go take the course again until you pass, and then you get your driver's license or like a broker's license. You take a course, pass it. If you want to drive a boat, you have to go to school and learn. So we think if our culture could understand the importance of relationship, and there's some skills you need, just like driving a car, there's skills you need to learn. We think that could contribute to really ending divorce on the planet. A friend of ours, when Peter and Ellen were here, I don't know if we mentioned, but Pete says there should be 4 R's in school, not 3. We need to teach everyone read and write. So John Gottman was really inspiring for me when we were talking about 3 years ago. He said, if you have a pain suddenly in your heart one night, you're having dinner and there's a sharp pain, and then it gets really severe, the average time it takes to call 911 is 4 hours. If you have a real sharp pain in your marriage, and it gets worse and worse, the average time it takes to call the doctor is 7 years. People don't know there is help, and there is help, as we know. So we are excited about this idea of, hey, let's get this message out more broadly that there's help. And but actually, for those of you who don't know, the Imago therapist already had that idea before us. Harville and I, years ago, in the founding of Imago, created a little business to steward the sale of the workbooks for for the workshops and things like that. And it was a business, and people would belong to Imago. But the therapist, the renegade therapist, went out and they started their own organization. It was about community, and they ran it. And Maya, Melva, Bruce Wooden, Bruce Krepchetz, but who else is here that? Oh, Jewel Fine Baker, yes, yes. And so the therapist said, we don't want just a business running us. We want to determine.